Hi girls, Ms. Gaska here. Welcome to English 1 Semester 2, Week 1, Activity 1.13. This assignment is called Previewing Embedded Assessment 2 and Preparing to Write an Argument. Our learning targets are to identify the knowledge and skills needed to successfully complete Embedded Assessment 2 and reflect on prior learning that supports the knowledge and skills needed. Our other learning target is to examine the essential elements of an argument. So our learning strategies are close reading, summarizing, and marking the text. As always, we're not going to do discussion groups due to the modality of working online through distance learning. So for making connections, it said, in the first part of this unit, you studied voice and coming-of-age narratives in both fictional and non-fictional forms. For independent reading, you have been reading biographical texts. Now you will shift your focus from narrative text to persuasive texts. You will review the rhetorical appeals of ethos, pathos, and logos, and how they work together with evidence to support the claim in an argument. Now that you have read texts and explored the concept of coming of age, how would you change your answer to the first essential question that asks, what does it mean to come of age? So here, under this question, you would write what your opinion now is after completing English 1 Semester 1 of what it means to come of age. And then, to prepare for the second half of this unit, think about the second essential question. How do authors and speakers persuade and influence an audience? And you would jot down your ideas right there. Think about the different things that authors, speakers, writers do to try to convince an audience about something. So, developing vocabulary. It says, look back at the vocabulary you have studied in the first part of this unit. Which terms do you know well and can use effectively in class discussions and in your writing? Which terms do you need to learn more about or practice using more frequently? So you might need to go to the activities from the first part of the unit and look at those vocab words. If you need the file, please let me know. So for unpacking Embedded Assessment 2, it's asking you to read the assignment for Embedded Assessment 2, writing an informative essay. What knowledge must you have, argumentative essay. What knowledge must you have, meaning what do you need to know to succeed on Embedded Assessment 2? What skills must you have? What must you be able to do? So I'm going to go through this with you, and we're going to highlight the different areas that we're going to need to know in order to be successful in that assessment. So it says your assignment is to write an essay, so that's something I'm going to need to know how to do, of argumentation. And so our essay is going to be about the value of a college education. So you're going to have to learn about why a college education is valuable. Your essay must be organized as an argument. So you're going to have to need to know argument organization, in which you assert a precise claim. You're going to need to know how to do that. Support it with reasons and evidence, and acknowledge and refute counterclaims fairly. So those are 3 skills that you're going to need to learn: asserting a precise claim, supporting it, and acknowledging and refuting counterclaims. So in your own words, summarize what you will need to know to complete this assessment successfully. It wants us to create a graphic organizer. We're not going to do that. We're just going to summarize in a few sentences underneath this part here what it is asking us to do, what skills and knowledge you're going to need to know in order to complete that activity. Then, continuing that assignment, we're going to look at the essential elements of an argument. So it says, in Embedded Assessment 2, you will write an argumentative essay. An argument is a discussion in which reasons are put forward in support of and against a claim. A written argument must meet several conditions in order to be a valid argument, and not merely an effort to persuade. So here are the 3 things it needs. One is that the central claim needs to be debatable. So it can't just be like, the sky is blue. It's not really something that's easily debatable. It has to be something that has 2 sides that you could choose from, such as, should we abolish the penny? The second one says, the claim must be supported by evidence. So, for instance, you could say, the sky is green, but you can't really support that with evidence. You need to be able to support whatever claim you make with evidence. And then 3, the writer needs to address the opposition by acknowledging counterclaims and the evidence supporting them. That means you need to state the opposite side and then give evidence that support the opposite side, but at the same time you also need to be able to shut down that opposite side so that their claims can be properly dismissed. So with these conditions in mind, consider the following elements of an effective argument. So these are all the important parts that need to be there in your argumentative essay. You need to have an introduction and claim, which is basically not that different from an informative essay. You have to have an opener, like a hook, to get the reader's attention and to also establish your claim, which is a straightforward statement about your belief about the topic. Your supporting paragraphs, which will have different types of evidence, elaboration, and details. Concession and or refutation, meaning you're acknowledging the opposite claim, you're restating it, you're giving evidence for it, and then you're either refuting it, meaning you're shooting down the argument, or you're concessing to it, or making a concession, meaning that you're accepting, well, this part is true, so I have to acknowledge that. And then last but not least, a conclusion or call to action, which means you need to restate the major arguments in the defense of your thesis with a final challenge to the reader to take action. So those are the paragraphs that need to be present in your argumentative essay. And then here are the purposes for an argumentative essay: to change a reader's or listener's point of view, to ask the reader or listener to take an action, or to gain acceptance for the writer's ideas about a problem or issue. So we are not doing this question, number 1, discussion group, because it has to do with forming a group and talking about the interview that I'm not having you do. So also, here's the next step. You're going to watch a presentation at this link right here. You're going to have to type it out by hand because you can't click on it. But as you view that presentation, make sure you take notes in this chart about the different reasons that they give and the different supports that they give for their claims. And make sure you use quotes from that video as supporting evidence. And then, for number 3, you have to answer which of these reasons is the most and least persuasive and why. Make sure you address all parts of that question: the most persuasive, the least persuasive, and why for each. Finally, for Check Your Understanding, it wants you to write a paragraph in which you state the central claim of the presentation, why go, including evidence from the graphic organizer as well as backing from the College Board video interviews that support the claim. So you have to write a paragraph making sure that you are describing the central claim, including evidence and backing from those details. So that's it for activity 1.13. If you have any questions about it getting started, just let me know and I'd be glad to address them for you. Once again, thank you for watching this video and I will see you in the next one. Take care.